Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and Cinema Discussions has returned after a long hiatus. Well, it feels like a long hiatus since obviously May or so. But anyway, I'm back. I'm going to try to finish up the season of Cinema Discussions. What we said, I said I was going to do 2 more episodes, but no, I'm going to do 3 more episodes. So, starting with today's episode, and we're going to talk about something that doesn't really get enough love. Okay, in the past on this segment, I've talked about 2 genres that don't get a lot of respect. One was the Western, another one was mystery. Another one that doesn't get a lot of love and respect these days is the fantasy genre. Now, let's pump the brakes here. Wait a minute. Fantasy genre, technically, don't you think sci-fi and all that and kind of blend into one with fantasy? No. I'm talking about like fantasy, like, classic swords and sorcery and like dragons and all this other good stuff. Like if any of that rings any bells, you're thinking, wait a minute, like Conan the Barbarian, yes. But then there's the knockoffs, like not Red Sonja. I'm thinking like there's movies like Barbarian Queen and the Death Stalker. There's 4 Death Stalker movies, and they all are shittier than the rest. And yes, I know what you're thinking. A genre that involves that, yeah, no one's not into that anymore, and I agree. Because it's now a different age, okay? When people look back on it, they see, oh, it's all cheesy and whatnot. But then, if you kind of think about it, then there was the next age of fantasy epics, which was Lord of the Rings in the early 2000s. So, yeah, people always looked at it and said, oh my goodness, this is a freaking masterpiece. Look how far we come for CGI. Of course, we'll have to thank Industrial Light and Magic, ILM, for giving stuff like that to breathe life into the fantasy genre. But then again, like I miss all these good storytelling, where it's based on a book or not. I mean, when it comes to this genre, they're not around that much. But why isn't that? Well, I know one reason, and it's the same thing that goes with Westerns. They're too expensive to make. And yeah, but think about it, okay? You're talking about a period piece, if you kind of think about it. Just like Westerns, when Westerns were set in the Old West, you had the costumes, you had the Stetsons, you had the guns and architecture. Trust me, a whole lot goes into building that. And the same thing goes with fantasy epics, like Conan the Barbarian and Call the Conqueror, and all those are B movies with the like Barbarian Queen. You get my point. Like their budget is like too much, because you're getting these costumes that bring us back to like an age of, okay, not really the Stone Age, but like, what I mean, like 13th, 12th century, all that good stuff. But are they really that accurate, or what is that? And that's why like the fantasy genre like breathes life in that, and just makes us think, like, what was it like in this era? Even though it's not historically accurate, of course, the whole thing about fantasy is that it makes our imagination run wild. Well, is there a classic knight that fights a freaking dragon? Is the dragon very scary? Like, how they pull that off? And of course, another thing that kind of goes hand in hand is, of course, stop motion. Like, does anybody remember Ray Harryhausen? He created a bunch of them. Come on, Jason the Argonauts, Clash of the Titans. Come on, to me that's like a separate subgenre, but you get my entire point. Like that's also very expensive to do, because it's very time consuming, because claymation, stop motion, it's a lot, because you're taking all your button efforts, you're trying to build these sets. And like pick one picture, you move, you take another picture. Yeah, not a lot of people do that these days. Like, people have to be really dedicated to do this. And when it came to Ray Harryhausen perfecting that crap for a fantasy epic, he learned under one man was the same guy that made King Kong. And yeah, but that whole thing, that had its own bug of problems when it came to producing that, because that had stop motion things, but you also had rear projection, forward projection, all this other good stuff, and you kind of take all those techniques and you apply them to other works, like like some of these R-rated Harryhausen movies. And then, of course, as time went on, obviously CG had kind of did away with all those stuff. As in, you don't have to do that. You don't have to use a green screen or a blue screen. But now you got all this and all the CG stuff, and it kind of works. It's like the blending of the techniques to create what the fantasy genre was supposed to be, and it's supposed to bring magic. And sure, when it came to the Lord of the Rings saga, it would just blew everyone's mind away. But of course, a lot of diehard fans would say it's not really accurate because obviously, let's see, you're not going to take everything from the Lord of the Rings movies and put it to screen, but everyone will love to see each and every little thing from that movie to be put in the thing. And if you kind of think about it, when it came to the Return of the King, there was like several different endings. If you read how it all ends, it's like, oh, one character's story ends, and of course it takes forever and ever, and it goes on and on. It's a really dying process. And it kind of did just like the movie, and all that kind of stuff really wanted to make you tear your hair out, obviously. But you have to be really dire and hardcore to really pick out every detail to put into a movie, especially when it comes to this. And sadly, you don't see this today. No one wants to put the effort to create something like this. Obviously, everyone's focusing on other cool stuff, like the spy thrillers, the action genres, and all the political thrillers. But seriously, can we get away from that and go back to this genre? I would love to see another barbarian movie, something like that, or do something with Vikings and all that good stuff, like Conquistadors. We kind of got a glimpse of that with the show Vikings, and that was an okay show, but I think fans want to see more. So over due time, let's go back to what we liked, okay? Obviously, say the Schlockmeister of all these fantasy movies was Roger Corman. He created the Deathstalker movies. Hell, do you think we should see that again? Of course, trust me, I've seen that, and that was crap, okay? But do we want to see it? But, of course, you always got to peel back the shit and to enjoy something. With Deathstalker, depending on which one you watch, they can be really good, can be really cheesy, can be really bad, or something in between. But you can tell those were the B movies. But if you want to take something like that, bring it to new life and breathe something more epic into it, with some more gruesome stuff or scary stuff, that'll make fans want to go back to the movie theater and see something cool. I mean, yeah, I know, nothing in Hollywood is original, but seriously, I would love to see go back to, formula for this. Roger Corman, if you're still alive, may pass on the reins. Give us some ideas where we can breathe life into this whole genre, and maybe what's gonna be the next Lord of the Rings? Okay, it's won't be. Or the next Hobbit movies, who knows, okay? We don't know what's on the horizon, but I would love to go back to that, even if it's too expensive. Hell, do what you can. And you can bring it to that dance, all right? So that does it for this week for some discussions. I want to hear your thoughts about that. Other than that, thumbs this video, subscribe to my channel, and stick to it for some more awesome and exciting videos.